What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we are going to go ahead and make a preparation style video for the upcoming KIZUNA clash. Now, this is not a regular KIZUNA clash, by the way. This is a Pirate Alliance KIZUNA clash, the first one that we're going to be experiencing here on Global. Now, in this video today, we're only going to be covering the regular KIZUNA. We're not going to be covering the Super Boss stuff. I will be making an additional video for when that actually arrives, because there is a lot to discuss with that. But just know that there are zombie teams that are available for the Pirate Alliance KIZUNA clash. I want to also give a huge shout out to the Treasure Cruise Twitter account for actually making these infographics for us. Typically we see the community does this, but it actually is kind of interesting that we're getting more of an official infographic for this. So we've got for each of the difficulties, for the 10-star difficulty, which is just the regular KIZUNA clash, and then the Super Boss is also here. Now, Super Bosses, you can see it's a 15-star difficulty. Obviously the health is freaking crazy, but in terms of the gimmicks in these fights, it's not that crazy. You can see that for the strength variation, it's literally just a special reverse, and then like unfavorable slots, and then a burn and lock target, because there are a couple of other mobs. We'll discuss it more when the official KIZUNA clash comes out, because as I said, I want to make an additional video talking about each of the bosses in greater detail, showing you guys some teams that I have for this particular fight once it releases. But we're mainly going to be focusing here on the regular KIZUNA clash this time around. So here we have all of the different variations. We have the Kuja Pirates strength variation, which is the first one that we'll be taking on, and you can see that for battle 1 you need to have free spirit, slashers, and fighter characters. Those characters receive that special charge time. I believe it's 15 turns of special charge. Now on battle 2 you get given hungry and despair. Now the despair I believe is a 5-turn despair, and then it's a 1 hit of hunger. So you need to have someone on your crew that can generate a recovery slot, or you have someone on your crew that at least has hunger active, because all you need is hunger as a potential ability, and at level 1 it's going to remove 1 stack of hunger. So as long as you have 1 character on your crew with hunger, it's going to be fine for getting around that stage. And on the final boss fight, of course, we get a full board of empty slots. There is going to be an interrupt as well. If you do a HP cut, they're going to fully heal. And if they also activate a color affinity boost, you get given slot bind. So you don't want to be activating color affinity with a special ability. If you use a switch effect, or if you use a support effect or a super type, that will enable you to get those boosts, but don't use a special that has color affinity. And also, when the boss HP exceeds a certain value, you get given 5 turns of attack down. So yeah, do keep that in mind. Usually this one on this stage will activate after level 31, I believe, when the boss's HP reaches that threshold, so keep that in mind. But honestly, there isn't actually a lot here that is going to be much of a hindrance. There aren't that many gimmicks. Just don't use color affinity, and there's empty slots, bring hunger, bring despair removal, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and see the team that I have suggested for you guys. Now, I'm actually currently over on Game With, and I just did realize as well that you do get hit with despair on the final stage here as well. So that may be a little bit of an incorrect thing on the infographic, but just know there's 8 turns of despair on the final stage, and then there is going to be 5 turns of despair on stage 2. So there you go. Keep that in your mind right there. Okay, so this is the team that we have for this particular fight. Now, we are using Ace and Sabo as a friend captain. I would highly advise to use Ace and Sabo for all of your regular boss fights. When you're up against the super bosses, you can basically do whatever you want. But for the regular fights, I would advise using Sabo and Ace, because those characters give you a ticket bonus, plus they give you a super boss token increase drop. So they multiply the amount of super boss tokens that you get by 1.4, and by doing that, it means that you're going to be accessing the super boss fight a lot quicker via using these characters as your friend captain. So that is exactly what I would advise. So this is a free-to-play-ish style team. Bobbin obviously is not free-to-play, but he's a rare recruit that's been out for a really long time. I would expect many people to have him at this point. Definitely replaceable. The only reason why he is here is to remove attack down. Of course, you can bring any other attack down remover that you want. This is just a free-to-play-ish team. I'll show you guys my team in just a moment. But of course, you know, you'd have to deal with the despair on multiple stages. Luckily, when you're in the Ace form of this character, they're going to always resist 10 turns of despair, so you actually don't need a despair remover if you use this character as a friend. If you don't opt for that, you will have to build a team around like multiple despair removals, so that's kind of annoying. We've also got this Cavendish, who's just a chain locker, Ace and Luffy, who is a free spirit and shooter 4 times captain if you've got a matching slot. So for free to play, this is very good. Plus their special ability provides a 2 times attack boost to your team. amazing. And then we've also got the Kuja Pirates. Now this character is replaceable at this point until you get this character super evolved, completely maxed out. Because the thing about this character is that if your HP is above 50,000, like the actual number is above 50,000, when you launch the special, it's a guaranteed delay through immunity and a 1.5 times conditional boost. So that's going to be useful because there is immunity on this stage. And of course, this doesn't count for stat boosts or anything. And if you have characters that do receive stat boost during the KIZUNA and you want to use this character for the guaranteed conditional boost, definitely bring those characters to get the enhanced HP, which ultimately will get you that 50,000 threshold a lot easier. This character is fantastic, by the way. We'll talk more about this character once the official KIZUNA does release though, but not a bad team overall. And that actually was with the lower switch effect, so you can actually get the 2.25 color affinity boost with their special. I know that Ace and Sabo, when you activate their special, is a 1.75 times color affinity as well. So ensure that you use the swap or the super swap of this character first before you use Ace and Luffy, otherwise they will react to that. So that is something you do have to keep in mind. And then this is the team that I'm thinking about bringing for this particular fight. I may shift things around as things go, but in order to get these Wano slots guaranteed, I'm going to be using Kinemon with the support of Odin, and Kinemon's special changes all slots into whatever slot that he has, so that is absolutely perfect. This team also is only with the 1.5 affinity, but if you do use the super swap, you can get an even higher damage potential there, which is great. Luffy's awesome because he has hunger, so he can get around that mini boss stage, of course, plus he just provides a huge attack boost. The 2.75 attack boost, and that's going to be great for all of our characters. This Law's great. He removes attack down, plus he's a 1.0 chain booster, really awesome. So when Luffy hits last with his last tap, he's going to be doing a bit more damage. And then obviously Kuja Pirates for the guaranteed conditional boost, because we have like these two are boosted, Luffy's boosted, Kuja Pirates actually aren't boosted. These characters are actually not boosted, but with these three characters plus Cotton Candy's Limit Break, all of that, we should easily reach over 50,000 HP, absolutely no problem. So in terms of damage, this is going to be lasting for quite a while. This does not include the additional stats that these characters actually receive. Plus, in the Alliance KIZUNA, you will receive like lots of supports, like the 1.3 supports from all of those. But you know, in terms of damage, this is going to be fine for a pretty long time. But yeah, this seems okay for now. I was potentially thinking of using like Wano Law for chain boundary and then trying to fit another chain booster on the team, but having to remove attack down and stuff. You don't need this guy with the Wano slots. You could replace this for something else like chain boundary, then another chain booster, or but you do still have to bring a character that removes attack down, because that is obviously going to be a problem past like level 30, so keep that in mind. So now we can go ahead and have a look at the second boss, which is the quick variation, 10-star difficulty. Cerebral, shooters, and free spirit characters all receive that minus 15 cooldown. Now on battle 2, you're going to get hit with 4 turns of enemy rainbow shield, so damage reduction, 4 turns of that. On the final boss stage, block slots are given to your crew, special bind are inflicted to your crewmates, so if you've got a captain that removes special bind with their special, that is acceptable. Also, there is an interrupt if you do a health cut, they fully heal, and then after level 32, you're going to get given 5 turns of paralysis. So again, not really too much, you know, block, special bind, and then paralysis, and then you got to deal with Rainbow Shield on the previous stage. So the quick variation, again, like relatively straightforward. So in terms of an accessible team for this particular event, we're going to be using Koala as the captain, the brand new treasure map unit, 3.75 captain to free spirit, and then also gets rid of 2 turns of paralysis. So that's fantastic, of course. And then Ace and Sabo once again as a friend captain, and building a free spirit team around these 2 captains is very good. Now, in terms of removing the Rainbow Shield on the previous turn on stage 2, this Otoko free-to-play unit is another free spirit unit that helps you get rid of that. You can also go ahead and use Koala on that first turn of activation as well, because Koala gives you an attack boost to your Dex and free spirit characters, and then after 1 turn has passed, Dex and free spirit characters receive a 2 times boost in the following turn. So you can actually get an attack boost on 2 different stages. The super swap also gives us the color affinity boost. Shanks you can also use on stage 2 to generate some matching slots if you need it, and then also Boa Hancock provides a 3 times chain lock to our team. Now the thing as well is that this Onami and Orobi free-to-play character helps us get rid of the additional paralysis turns if we need to. So yeah, in terms of like free-to-play, it's pretty good. Of course, Shark Superb is probably the best ship you can use here, and this is just with the 1.5 color affinity with the swap. You can get up to 76 million damage, and this is not including stat boosts from the KIZUNA. So Ace and Sabo are going to be hitting even harder. This is probably going to be closer to 100 million damage for essentially a full free-to-play team, which is pretty unbelievable, honestly, pretty good. So there we go. That is a pretty good good free-to-play team that you could potentially use for the upcoming KIZUNA. Now, this is the team that I am looking at the moment. As I said, things may change as things progress, but the thing about it is that I want to use Ace and Sabo, obviously, for the additional ticket bonuses and stuff, but the thing is, Law actually does not receive the orb boost from Ace and Sabo because they only orb boost for free spirit and shooter characters, which obviously this character is none of those, so that is a bit of a problem. But here we have this Nami Robin Legend unit. Now, this unit is pretty good because not only do they provide an orb boost to all of our Dex units, but they also get rid of the paralysis that would be inflicted after level 32, so that's a pretty nice addition to the team. We can get rid of the special bind, no problem, with the Ace and Sabo, of course, no problems there. Guaranteed conditional boost with this character. Apu, who's also another boosted unit, can help us get rid of the Rainbow Shield on stage 2, plus for 3 turns, he makes all colored orbs beneficial to our crew, so that's pretty nice, so we can carry, you know, that buff into multiple rooms, don't have to worry about matching slots at all, no problems at all. The increased damage taken buff from Law is not applied to this, so just think any damage that is dealt here, Law will multiply that by an additional 1.5 due to his awesome effect in his special ability. So this actually does do quite a substantial amount of damage. Plus, this does not include the stat boost from the KIZUNA, in which everyone is going to be receiving like 2 times stats, except for these 2 characters in the middle. Plus, this is only the 1.5 times color affinity. If you do get the super swap, it's 145 million. So yeah, the damage potential is a lot higher. And of course, if you have last tap, especially at higher levels of last tap for Law, it's going to be doing some pretty incredible damage. So not too bad, I think. As I said, not set in stone right now. This is just what I'm thinking preemptively for this upcoming fight. Alright, so now we can go ahead and talk about the Dex variation, the final variation, which my face is actually covering, but you can see that the characters that are Strength, Dex, or Quick receive cooldown this time around. Battle 2, left side is going to be binded, and I believe it's a 5-turn bind, so after sockets it'll be 2 turns of bind left over, plus unfavorable slots. All the crew slots are changed into badly matching, and on the boss fight you can see that bind is inflicted to your middle row, 8 turns of bind, so you need 5 turns of removal there. Defense up, 5 turns of defense up. If you do a health cut, fully heal, and then after a certain HP threshold, so level 30, you will get 5 turns of threshold that you have to deal with as well. So 5-turn threshold, 5-turn defense, and 5 turns of bind, all of the things you have to remove on the final stage, and then there's bind also on stage 2. So this one does seem to be the most annoying in terms of the gimmicks that you have to get around in this boss fight, but let's go ahead and have a look and see what we've come up with. So this is what I've kind of landed on in terms of a free-to-play-ish team. We do have Usohachi, who is not free-to-play, but again, a relatively older rare recruit that most people will likely have at this point, and the reason why he's good is because he does remove Threshold, Rainbow Shield, and Blue Shield all by 5 turns, so he gets rid of all of those defensive effects. Now, in terms of getting rid of Bind, you know, you could use this Okiku character with the support of Whitey Bay, which enables you to remove up to, you know, with double special activation, does remove up to 6 turns of Bind, so that's good for the final stage. But obviously, the turn before, the stage before is going to be kind of annoying too. This Shinobu is really great, the brand new Arena Shinobu, because it does enable you to get rid of the bind that would be inflicted to your left hand side of the screen, plus it will give you an attack boost for that turn as well. Koala could be used on that same stage, because after 1 turn has passed, all your free spirit characters receive a 2 times attack boost in the following stage, so as long as you're able to clear that stage in one go, that's obviously really good. But also on the final stage, the Ace and Sabo are another really good unit, because they obviously will get rid of the bind to spare, special bind, whatever. So even though these characters will be binded in this row here, you can use the special ability of Ace and Sabo to unbind them, so you don't particularly need Okiku with the support of Whitey Bay. It's just another free-to-play strength unit that's free spirit that fits on the team. Obviously, Koala once again is the captain, because 3.75 captain, double stats of course, really nice unit to be bringing here. And then this random Cavendish, who was available when super type Snake Man Luffy first came out, and he's got a special that gives a 2.75 chain lock for 2 turns. So in terms of damage, this is the lowest of the free-to-play teams you guys would have seen. This is only the 1.5 color affinity though, so it does go up a little bit further. We do have to go ahead and change some things though, because Ace and Sabo are not considered super effective against all types here. So yeah, 69 million plus that will be doubled, so it's going to do another 15 million damage on top of it. Shinobu, I believe, also receives double stats, plus Koala, but Koala doesn't really do too much damage either way. But that's not a bad team for free to play. Of course, if you've got other boosters, use those characters to build your teams with. And then in terms of the team that I'm thinking of right now is going to be this one right here with double Ace and Sabo once again. And with this team, we're going to be using Luffy Sanji as our main attack booster because he's like one of the only strength-free spirit units that actually gives us a pretty substantial stat boost. He's actually really good, 2.5 obviously if we're at full HP. And the thing about it is that we're not really taking any damage before we reach that boss stage, so we should be at full HP when we reach the boss stage. Usohachi, of course, to get rid of those defensive effects. Ace and Sabo get around the bind and the matching slots, plus they have the really good switch effect, of course, for color affinity. Marco is great because he's a chain booster. He does remove bind. We don't overly need it, so this could be replaced with an additional chain booster, one that does a better chain boost than what Marco can provide. But he's not a bad option as well. He's a 0.75 chain boost, so that's cool. And then, of course, Sugar, because it can fit on the team, and all these characters receive the max cooldown at the start of the quest, so why not bring it? If you can bring Sugar, you probably should, because the amount of damage that you get from it is pretty good. And this is only with the 1.5 color affinity switch. If we do use the super swap, it will go up to a pretty big margin, though we do have to change the colors once again of Ace and Sabo because they will be super effective against all types. So that is going to be 223. That is not including stat boost from the KIZUNA itself. So yeah, in terms of damage, it's pretty solid, honestly. Not really too worried about this one, but of course things may change as things progress along the way. And of course, if you guys are thinking about building teams for this KIZUNA, definitely take this particular infographic into account, into the type of units that you want to be bringing here. So, of course, you've got the Ace and Sabo, 1.5 ticket, 1.4 super boss coins, 15 cooldown, 2 times stats, super effective against all types, definitely the unit you want to be bringing. But then these characters receive times 2 stats and an additional minus 15 cooldown. So you've got so many available characters here, all of the most recent characters that have been releasing. And all of these are very, very valuable and very decent options, actually, for this KIZUNA as well, as we did use a couple of them in this particular video, as you guys would have seen. But of course, if you didn't pull Ace and Sabo, they do work, obviously, with Luffy for that strength variation, but they are a rainbow captain at the end of the day, so you can use them essentially in anything, so pretty nice. And then, of course, you got a bunch of units here that are like just 1.5 stats and a little bit of extra cooldown, so you got a couple of decent options here, especially like, you know, you've got the Fire Tank Pirate, Sanji Pudding, Halloween Shanks potentially, but not really a great unit in this particular circumstances. But you got like Legend Cracker, Onami potentially, like you got some decent options here. So anyways, make sure to go ahead and take this into account if you do choose to build your own teams for this KIZUNA Clash. But that is going to wrap up this video today, guys. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Make sure to get your team sorted for this upcoming KIZUNA Clash. I think I might be streaming for this KIZUNA Clash when it does drop. And of course, I will be uploading an additional video for when the Super Boss stuff does release as well, because I want to talk more about that extensively, talk about different team compositions and the way that we can actually counter it and get around it. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. Also, go check out the One Piece Treasure Cruise Twitter if you guys want the infographics as to what you should be expecting for this particular event. Make sure you go ahead and check it out. Go ahead and show your support so we can get more of these done in the future. Although, of course, I would have preferred to see like the exact amount of turns each of these gimmicks would have lasted for. I think that would have made these absolutely perfect. But honestly, these are a really, really good step forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they're going to be providing in the future on the Twitter account. Anyways, that is going to wrap up this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.